Yo, 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 what's going on? It's Terrell, Hall of Fame, D-Line, TBKC, and all that other good shh. It's about 3:30 in the morning. There'll be a bunch of other videos coming, but excuse me. This video was funny because, I get a lot of messages and everybody always talking about what is it, what do you have to do to be a breeder? What is it about? Hey, what is it about, to be a breeder, to this, that, and the other? I'm gonna tell y'all this. If you got all these dreams that you're gonna get super rich and you're gonna do all these things, it's like 1 in a million people who get actually money from breeding dogs. Really this shit is a Ponzi scheme in most ways. You get these guys who flash houses and they cars and and they talk about, your investment and different things like that. And then, some of y'all try to do the math because someone is willing to charge you $10,000 for a puppy or whatever. You think, okay, if I have a litter of 8 puppies, I'm gonna have $80,000. And really, that's not the way it works. Most of these guys who are saying that they sell dogs for high prices, they'll get some people to pay high prices, but most of their dogs end up going for way less. All you have to do is go on Hoobly and you can find all of those great bloods that they said you had to pay $1 billion for. You can find them right on Hoobly, for next to nothing, and some of them at the dog pound. And I would tell you, do it because you have a passion. Don't think that you're going to get rich off this stuff. I've seen many of people come and go thinking that they were going to get rich. They invested a lot. They paid a bunch for their setup. They were all excited, bought a bunch of dogs. Then they found out what a real dog man's life is like. If you do it for the passion, you'll be cool. And that's one of the reasons that I pretty much stopped advertising anything for sale, because you have your ups and downs with the shit. You really are posting stuff for sale just because you should have extra. If you're doing a breeding, like I have a couple breedings coming up that I'll be that I'll be doing stuff basically for my program. Now, as I'm doing these breedings, of course, I want something out of them. Most of the time I want 2 or 3 dogs out of them, but if the bitch has 8 puppies, I'm gonna have 5 for sale. Congratulations, you've got enough money to take care of the vet bills and pay for dog food and all that other good stuff. But typically, it's not a huge market for dogs. I know it looks like a huge market, but it's not a bunch of people flipping, back and forth over dogs. And then when you put all of the numbers together, you're lucky to break even a lot of times, because when you look at the real, if you're doing it correctly, when you look at the numbers of it, man, just to do a breeding, if you were going to do surgical progesterone C-section, I know here you're gonna run up to about anywhere from $3,000 to $4,000 from start to finish with all of the X-rays and this and that and the other. Well, really $3,000 to $5,000 depending on how many puppies and what's needed extra just to do the breeding. If you had to ship semen and all of that stuff, so then you take in if you pay for a stud, and that could be another $2,500 to $5,000 or more. And now, you starting off a breeding and you're looking at, already being in the hole anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000. Now, during the process, if you're doing it correctly, when I have litters, I have to buy shavings, I have to buy all of the dewormers. I have to buy a ton of food. You have to buy a ton of cleaning supplies. You have nights like tonight where I'm up late. That's my Rottweiler puppy. I gotta watch him. He's destructive. But you gotta watch every little aspect. Dewormings every couple weeks, shots, of course, like I said, all of the cleanings that you have to do, all of the extra work that you have to do with these dogs, constantly, and it always costs. It's not cheap. So by the time you get through this whole entire process, just in proper maintenance, if you was doing that properly, with your puppies, you'll spend another grand, for this and that and the other, especially if you got a nice sized litter. Now, with all that being said, hopefully you do find good homes for the puppies, and hopefully all the puppies come out Excuse me, like I told y'all, it's late. Hopefully all the puppies come out healthy. But if all the puppies, you know what I mean, if all the puppies don't come out healthy, then you got decisions to make, which I've had to make those decisions even recently, that you put some of them down, you know, because they're not, you know, they're not of the quality and they'll probably have a rough life. Then when you look at it and you go even a step further, you know, what's pet quality? Good breeders are going to decide what's pet quality, what should be sold and what shouldn't be sold. You know, what should be sold as a pet, or you know, what should be sold with breeding rights, if any at all. And that changes up your profit margin immensely, because if the dog, you know, say for instance, if you're selling the dogs for $3,000, you know, that's your show quality, or you know, or whatever. We'll just use $3,000. Now, you know, say, you know, in a litter of 8, which is a good size litter, you know, what if you only look at it that 4 would be good enough to represent you? This is a show quality, this is a top quality dog, if you're being honest. And the other ones, although are nice, if you don't accept average, like we don't accept average, you're gonna boot out a lot of those dogs that you know, you don't feel like are up to par. And that means that, you know, you might place them with somebody as far as just a pet, or, you know, give them to a neighbor or whatever, but you're not going to do that. That's more money out of your pocket. You know, they're going to be lower priced or they're going to be free. That's if you're doing it with ethics. One of the biggest problems that we have, especially in the American bully community, is that everybody is so pressed about the money and pressed about the sales that they'll push anything on people. I did a video about that recently, to where even now, you know, people are so super pressed. You know, it's like, I want a dog right now, I want a dog right now, I want a dog, you know, no matter what, I'll take whatever you give me. And, you know, probably complain about it later, but right now I just want a dog, you know. And the bad part is quality is not being made at the same rate as the demand that people think that they want to show and breed. And the market is super saturated. You have everybody that's a breeder, and not really understanding the ins and outs, the work that it takes, and the ethics that it's going to take for you to have, excuse me, once again, have a good kennel and a good start. You know, it does take time. It does take a ton of effort if you're doing it right. I mean, shit, like I say, I'm up and I just did 2 breedings, and, you know, you got that time factor. With me having kids, I got to do it when I can, so it's in the middle of the night for me, you know. But really, this was just something to think about for all of the breeders who think that this is, I mean, all the people who getting into this, that think that it's like some illustrious life, that you're going to immediately be able to buy you an Escalade and all that shit. It don't work like that. You got to grind a little bit, and you got to, you know, really should be working for the quality and the betterment of the breed. And if you happen to make a couple extra dollars, you know, more power to you. But I'm going to tell you, the dreams that they're selling y'all, that, you know, you just going to make all this money right off top and this and that and the other. Most times you're not, and those most times who are making the money aren't doing things ethically. It's just bottom line. Every dog's not a show dog. Everything that they're sending to people is not of quality. And what happens a lot of times is that that's the second part of the backlash that they'll get, is they'll put out a bunch of terrible dogs. Dogs that die on people, dogs that have constant health issues, dogs that just don't turn out. Then they have to deal with that. So I don't think you want to deal with that either. Well, hopefully this helps somebody to get their mind right and to come in with the right perspective. I'm not trying to deter everybody from wanting to be a part of a dog community, but just understand what you're up for. It's a grind. It's not as easy and as illustrious as all these guys with the sunglasses and the gold chains are trying to make you think it is. In the next video, much love.